Good morning, Brenda. Morning to your listeners and viewers.
Yeah. So tell us about your COVID experience or your
Well,
interesting experience.
my experience has been very unique. My wife, who's a pharmacist, was tested positive a Thursday evening. And on my way home, she called to say, this is the case. And then, immediately I informed my immediate co-workers, those that is in my immediate surroundings, that is. Inform the folks home as to what's happening, some family members and friends. And got home. The children was extremely fearful. They had a hands-off, standoff position. So the stigmatization started almost immediately. But understandably, that is. And then we immediately had to kick in some protocols at home, basically the same that as what exists now, wearing our face masks and social distancing and so on, until a PCR test could have been conducted. Because the test that my wife did was a rapid test. A couple days after, the nurses came to our home, did the PCR test. And interestingly, my wife remained positive, and everyone else, including myself, was negative. And while she has been positive with very mild symptoms, I have experienced all of the symptoms of COVID having a negative result, interestingly.
Wow.
And, and I had the first dose of the AstraZeneca 3 weeks before that. At home, you treat teenagers, and there's a senior citizen, my mother-in-law, who is in a very senior age here too as well. And my children had to step up to the game, especially my son, who is 19 years old, caring for his grandmother, cooking, making breakfast, as best as he can, lifting out of a bed, turning her, bringing her to the washroom. He has gone through a serious transition during this time, and he lost a dear friend of his too at Cece, the younger Rihanna, who he has been exposed to. And I recall one night he knocked my bedroom door about 20 past 11 at night, complaining that he couldn't breathe. And I thought, I got scared right away, but I know that he was tested negative. And I could see that like he's trying to say something in the process, And I knew he was hurt. So, I just said, boy, cry, let it out. And he cried for hours, vomited. It was real painful for him, losing that friend. And reality really struck us, Interestingly, I have been hesitant in taking the vaccine months before, had the same wait and see approach, it's nothing crucial yet. Things get dicey, as we'll see, I'll probably take it and so on. And then during that process, you get bombarded with all sorts of information. And I think what is important for persons, as I've come to the reality before taking the vaccine, that we owe ourselves the personal responsibility to read on our own and try to be very objective. And I'll tell you, in going to the stadium to get vaccinated, I'll tell you what was the final kill for me. You listen to the conspiracy theories and so on, and you get all this thing about the immune system, natural immune system being able to work on its own. You have all the different remedies and so on. Then you get the spiritual side of things too as well. And I think of the virus as this, this is possibly man-made, right? And this is like a gun. Somebody just shot a bullet into me. That's not natural. That process was man-made. Somebody pulled that trigger. And that will require some man-made intervention to save my life.
Right.
The immune system, you could leave the bullet there and the immune system might help over time, or it may not. But I came to the reality that I needed man-made intervention for a man-made virus. That was my interpretation of it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take this vaccine. And then I think of so many men, especially who do not even know of the current health status. I have a lot of friends who have not ever taken a health check, the annual health checks and so on. And and they are anti-vaccine. And surprisingly, I would not be surprised if many of them requires other type of vaccine after they would have taken their health check, and they would, because at that point you realize, look, you have to trust the system. And a lot of us as parents, especially, we invest in our children and we spend hundreds of thousands of dollars for them to pursue studies in medical fields and so on, right? Are we seeing that this investment is a waste? And some of us who have gone into the medical field, being the scientists themselves, medical doctors, are we saying they're all heathens? They're not Christians too? Right. So we really have to look at this thing objectively. We have to stop listening to what he say, she say. While it may have some value, right? We have to really read. I'm not sure how much of us are reading. I know a lot of us are swiping. We spend a lot of our time every day just swiping up on the phone, swiping down. Yeah. And our heads are down, and we have not really figuratively lift our heads to understand what is happening before us. This is real. Yeah. Life is not, a rehearsal. It is the real thing, right? We're not practicing this thing here, right? The isolation home was tough. Managing it was tough. Luckily, given the career field that I am in, I was able to have something set up, and I want to encourage people to do that too as well, where I was able to utilize my e-banking and transfer monies to friends who were able to shop and bring items home for me, drop it off at the gate, and off they go. I'm only communicating to them via phone, and then I pick it up. I've had some friends who were able to bring home the coconut water and all these sorts of things. So I was able to manage that way. And as well, you would want to at home. I'm speaking to parents too. You want to empower your children too, right? Get them involved in family affairs. So when you have to respond to situations like that and emergencies, I think, the children will be more capable. The expectations and the roles will be clearer, and they'll be able to handle and manage stuff. I mean, my mom did a pretty good job, and it's because we had them involved. And I could tell you, they have force matured overnight. It's not the same children that I know last month. So as it stands, by October 6th, all of the household will be fully vaccinated. I mean, the biggest scare really was just not knowing what would happen to us. So while I experienced all the high fever, everything just tasted strange in my mouth. I did not lose the smell. Headaches, my blood pressure was doing some funny things, and that's the thing too. We spend a lot of time investing in a lot of gadgets and so on, right? You want to be sure as a person who care for your health, which you should. You care for your vehicle, you underwash it, you do engine wash, you do regular checkup, that you have critical equipment at your home, your blood pressure machine, your glucose machine, your oximeter. You need to have those things. And maybe we should start buying these kind of things for gifts for friends, because probably they won't go buy it on their own. So I was able to monitor those things, while I was experiencing all those symptoms. So I know what was happening. Having spoken to some persons in the medical field in recent times, I think everyone is convinced that the first shot of the AstraZeneca that I took 3 weeks before I got ill really gave me a fighting chance. Mm-hmm. And this is what it's all about. You want to give yourself a fighting chance for something that's was likely man-made, and you need man-made intervention, right? The immune system may work, but it's probably over time. It's not going to kick in at the rate that you expect it to kick in when you have something destroying you at the rate 100% effective rate immediately as it gets in, right? You need that buffer, that cushion of something in you that will help, right?
Indeed.
That will give you a fighting chance. This is how we looked at it as a family,
Good.
and exactly what we did.
Great.